over to a boxing card. It is Rafael Carino against Matt Andersen. Carino, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Matt Andersen, Warrior Training. A look at the tail of the tape. Andersen and Carino are both young. Carino with the size advantage, 6'8", 245. So we haven't seen a Brazilian with that kind of size thus far in the competition. Andersen hails from the same hometown as Steve Jenham, who won UFC 3, Omaha, Nebraska. Rafael Carino making his way to the octagon. Studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a brown belt, judo, wrestling, also some of his background. Two-time Brazilian champion. In February became the world champion Jiu-Jitsu artist in Brazil. It's really the first time there's a crossover between the Brazilian and American Jiu-Jitsu academies. His co-trainer is John Lewis of the Las Vegas Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu School. His trainer is Andre Pederneiras. His discipline, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we've seen a lot of it.
Well, he's a master when it comes to this form of fighting. At least this is all he has been exposed to. He wants to take people down to the ground right away. 6'8", 250 pounds. He's going to be powerful. Big question, does he have a chin? Because he's never been in a striking situation. And I question 6'8", 250 pounds. I'm a heavyweight. He doesn't look that big.
He is a college student studying to be a physical therapist. Let's meet him.
My name is Rafael Carino. It's my first time here. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. I'm come to win.
So there's a look at the man they call the Earthquake. Last guy I knew had a nickname like that was Bill Earthquake Enyart, the big fullback from Ohio State back in the 60s.
I think some pro wrestlers will say, hey, we had one over here too.
All right, here comes Matt Andersen, whose discipline is entitled Warrior Training. Andersen 1-0 in bare knuckle matches. He wrestled in high school. He's from Omaha, Nebraska, affiliated with Robert Bussey's Warriors International, a school which produced Scott Morris in UFC 2 and Steve Jenham, the champ in UFC 3. He is a painter by trade. He is trained by Dave Jobian, and he runs a martial arts school, the Andersen Warrior Training Branch. Does he have enough of real live experience is the question. Warrior Training.
Matt considers himself a very well-rounded fighter. He's going to try to avoid the clinch. He knows he's vulnerable on his back from lack of experience, and he also strikes on the ground, which is the new trend in the UFC.
A closer look now at young Matt Andersen, 24 years of age.
My name's Matt Andersen. I train at the Jobin Warrior Training Branch in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm here to represent Warrior Training.
So it is Matt Andersen against Rafael Carino. For the introduction of the fighters, let's go to the G-Man, Rich Goins, a Detroit native.
Ladies and gentlemen, fight number 2 of UFC 9. Please welcome the competitors. First of all, in this corner, he holds a brown belt in the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a record of 1-0 in professional competition, 23 years old, 6'8", 245 pounds, the state and two-time Brazilian, Pan American, and world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion from Rio de Janeiro. They call him the Earthquake, Rafael Carino. And his opponent, 24 years old, a second degree black belt in the art of warrior training, 1-0 in bare knuckle matches, 6'2", from Omaha, Nebraska. Please give a Midwestern welcome to Matt Andersen.
This one looks one-sided on paper in Carino's favor, but you never know.
The one thing I have to say is Andersen said he doesn't want to be in the guard. He wants to be behind a person. That sounds like a typical wrestling statement. After you take somebody down, you're behind them. if he doesn't want to be in the guard, he's got a whole lot of problem here, because I have a feeling Carino is just going to try to pull him right into the guard.
He's a master at it, there's no doubt. If he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stylist, he knows it inside and out.
Here we go, Andersen against the much bigger Carino, both in their first UFCs.
It's good that these guys are both first-timers. Carino has some boxing experience as well.
And we're told that Carino will be more aggressive than many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. And quickly the takedown by Carino.
And Andersen isn't even in the guard position here. Carino will start to move up the body. And here he is. Now he's struggling to get into it. And now he's in the guard. Okay, the classic matchup here on the ground.
So Andersen in the guard.
Andersen has the guard on Carino. Carino now will try to work. And you can see how calm Carino is. There's no rush here. Quite often people think, oh gosh, you got him on the ground, rush, rush, rush. In this in a contest like this, you have to take your time, be patient, do not make a mistake, because that's what the guard is about. It's about waiting for the top man to get too aggressive, get a little bit extended, make that mistake, and he's going to just cinch it on you.
He was hiding, he said, in Brazil. Now he wants to show the world who he is.
The best thing Andersen can do is what he's doing right now, keeping him close to him and not giving him any reach to do that.
And now a strike by Carino.
Come on, work. Open head. Open head.
Carino trying to land a big bomb, but just missed. And with that frame behind it, if he connects, it could be trouble.
I'm still waiting for the day when the person throws the strike and hits the octagon at a bad angle, because the bottom man moves out of the way. Very difficult when your hips are being thrown all over the place to really aim accurately.
Right, it's tough to punch down. Your power comes from the floor. And punching down is not a natural thing for a fighter.
Right hand landed.
Those are the most effective. Mainly just arm throws, elbows, forearms, that kind of thing from short range. Nothing where you can wind up, because when you wind up, your opponent feels it coming and will adjust.
Carino grabbed onto Andersen's pants to try to use it as some leverage.
What he's doing there is just like Gracie grabbed the sleeve of his gi, he's grabbing his own pant leg to try to keep Carino down close to him where he doesn't have the distance to be able to throw strikes.
Andersen very much fighting a defensive battle.
One of the things Carino is not doing that Gracie does is Gracie will take those knuckles and drive them into the ribs to loosen up the guy down on the bottom.
Andersen looking over at his corner, getting advice. He's showing a lot of patience and maturity.
Well, I think there's a little bit also of the inexperience of Carino here at the UFC, which will help Andersen. Andersen was actually talking with his coach, asking
trying
advice.
To employ techniques, which is very unusual. Look at that, looking back at his corner.
There's an elevator. Oh, he almost got it. Nice job by Andersen, but a great job by Carino to keep him down.
Andersen, his discipline is called warrior training, designed to beat all martial arts, a realistic system with a collar punch from wrestling being employed. Everything practical, scissor chokes, kicks to the legs and body, a lot of finishing techniques. Holds the credo of the ninja, use anything you can to win, but right now, he'd like to find a way to win. Crowd getting restless, but there's no reason for Carino to rush.
Correct, but let's see if Big John McCarthy, with the rule of neither athlete being able to really improve position and be offensive and aggressive, he might bring him to the feet. But Carino's being active.
There's some strikes in there, and he looks like he might be applying some pressure there with his shoulder a little bit. It's not really a choke, but
he's trying to pass the guard, but to his credit, Andersen's staying. Oh, he's in the mount now. He's in trouble.
This is where Carino can hammer him. Carino's got his legs outside of Andersen. He's in the mount, and that's where those big right hands can be explosive.
Open the head. Open the head. Let's go.
This is like that double grapevine in wrestling, being in this mounted position. So Carino's up much higher. His center of gravity is up on Andersen's chest, keeping that upper body down, and all he's trying to do is get a quick elevation from his upper body and then rain those strikes down before he's pulled back down by Andersen.
Those are the body strikes that Gracie uses to loosen up the grip of his opponent.
Is it worth it here, Jeff, for Andersen to try another elevator, make one big thrust?
Well, again, this is something, unless you feel you're in trouble, you don't want to go desperation. But this is why you don't want to be where Andersen is. He's in a very vulnerable position.
Andersen covering up well, trying again to flip Carino, but unable to do so.
He won't get this guy off. He's too big, too long, and too experienced at this position.
7 minutes left. It's been a gutsy performance by Andersen thus far.
I don't see Carino getting out of this. He's got his legs locked in behind him. He knows how to keep and maintain his position.
That was a tough shot right there.
Andersen ate some leather there. Without it being leather, it was just the hand.
Small cut on the forehead of Andersen now.
Yeah, that cut is getting bigger by the moment. And that's it. John McCarthy has seen enough. And Carino wins it. Great courage by Andersen, but Carino too big and was able to utilize the mount position very successfully.
Well, he had the strikes, Don, when he got into that mounted position. He said he wanted to go to the ground. He was able to do it, and he showed his experience.
There was no way Andersen was going to get him off. I mean, he did some valiant efforts there, but once he got right up on him in that guard position, he couldn't get him off.
So another victory for Brazil. Rafael Carino, who is only 23, he can learn an awful lot.
Well, Andersen's fairly young, too. Maybe with a little more schooling there, we might see him again at the UFC.